think I used my voice, but this was inspired after studying abroad in London for a semester, and I became quite fond of the phrase, mind the gap. Mind the gap. No one states those iconic words, not the man directing the train traffic during rush hour, nor is it blared over the speakers in a canned British voice. But I think them to myself. There is a 6-inch gap between the platform and the crowded train car I need to maneuver onto, which might as well be 6 feet since it is rush hour. The suffocating hordes of well-dressed adults push and shove each other anxiously over the gap to squeeze into the claustrophobic cars that will speed off in only a matter of seconds. I am nervous. Nervous that these impatient masses packed into the train will violently reject me. Nervous that I will bounce off the wall of adults and fall through the gap into the anonymous abyss. All space needs to be taken advantage of during rush hour. That is all space but the gap. The gap is the unfilled air between a sturdy, unmoving ground and the train that hurtles forward, always forward. The gap is an all-consuming darkness, and if I managed to step off the platform and fall into the empty space, I would be crushed under the mechanical, churning metal of the train and forward movement. So mind the gap. This description sounds like a reoccurring nightmare, and in a way this gap has represented an emptiness that I am now facing. For months I have been plagued by the thought of my childhood passing away. Such passing is significant as I am on the final breath of my teenage years. Childhood has acted as a sturdy cement platform throughout my life. I can watch innocently as the trains pass by because being a child leaves room open for excuses. A platform of support holds children up as they attempt to understand and experience the world. There is room to get life wrong because even if children fall, there will only be minor scrapes from hitting the concrete under their feet. And for children, when they fall, everyone rushes to their rescue. Or when children wander to the edge of the platform themselves, filled with curiosity, they are yanked back. The edge is too frightening. While the child may not understand, she is not ready to face the nightmarish darkness. But I am moving away from this concrete assuredness. And while I do, my feet feel as though they are cemented onto the very ground they stand. As if in a dream, they are too heavy to propel me to the edge. Yet here I am, standing on the edge in anticipation. The platform was not ripped from beneath my feet. No, I trudged here so that I can stare into the train that will propel me forward. But I am nervous. The gap I need to cross in one adept and swift step still remains. The darkness looms. Before the train comes, I am nervous at the thought of falling. The gap is dirty and only the unwanted live in this gloom. The rats and garbage thoughtlessly tossed into the abyss. Should I miss the train, I would number the discarded. As I stare fearfully into this darkness, the possible torment of being swept under the train is at the forefront of my mind, the churning and crushing. I worry that my transition into adulthood would be tragic. I also worry about the people. I worry over and over again. The train is crowded with suffocating adults. Will there be room for one more? Will I leap and be absorbed into the rest of the multitude? I fear I will fall short, just as I am haunted by the thought of being rejected by the rush hour traffic. The cars are packed with adults. This is where they belong on a vehicle speeding them constantly into the future. Forward, always forward, and I am anxious to join. Yet I am still leaning over the gap with 2 feet hesitating on the sturdy, unmoving platform's edge. Adulthood never before felt so intimidating and unattainable, unless standing here at the edge. Even if I make it, fly over the gap and thrust myself into the throng of adults. Even if I know where I am going, certain of my destination, I may not get there. Although I admire the strength and efficiency of the trains, they are also faulty. Mechanical difficulties arrest the forward movement. Sometimes the trains simply break down. All of the train's forward motion halts, and the people slam violently against one another. The suffocation increases. Panic fills the air. The destination never seems so impossible to reach. This essay will not end on a note of concreteness. I cannot do so. I am in transition, stuck and hesitant to pass away from the solidity of childhood into the furious forward motion of adulthood. And as I wait, I fear all the more the space in between. There is a gap. It is dark and gray and empty. The air is dull, and it frightens me that I will be swept and crushed under the failure to live in either world. Yet I cannot look back. I know if I do, if I turn back and stand forever on the platform, then the train will leave the station and I will be cemented onto a plane not created to live on. My hopes of sailing into adulthood stuck in the world of dreams. but never realized. The train comes. The doors are open. The crowd is suffocating. The words are not spoken, not blared, but silently reiterated. I hold my breath. I place one foot out. Mind the gap.